Hallelujah.
I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
By and
by, I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. Where the river will never run dry. This river will never run dry. Where the river will never run dry. This river will never run dry. Every time I feel this way, this old familiar singing, I will lay my troubles down by the wall. River will never run dry. Hallelujah. I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna let myself be lifted.
By and
by, I will lay my troubles down by the water, where the river will never run dry. It's been said, and I do believe, as you ask, so shall you receive. So take from me these troubles, bring me sweet release, where the river
get comfortable, and center yourself for a really good service today.
Our prelude selection this morning is The Lover's Waltz.
David to the rescue.
It's my pleasure to
Give us just a minute as the mic problem gets worked out. I have never been up here before, and Reverend Jean told me, Bethany, no matter how hard you try to make this work smoothly, there's going to be something that happens, so just get ready for it. That's right.
It's my pleasure to introduce violist Karen Peters to join me in playing our prelude this morning, The Lover's Waltz by Jay Ungar and Molly Mason.
gosh, that was lovely. Thank you. I invite you all now to please rise in body or spirit to join me in the congregational covenant. It's in your order of service if you don't know it by heart by now. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is a sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist, wrong one. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. Our community is founded on deeds, not creeds. We are a covenantal religion, meaning that we don't have to believe the same things in order to treat each other the same. And that means with respect, with equity, with compassion and dignity. We place love at the center of our values, and we embrace and welcome all people. We are delighted to welcome guests every day. And we are going to invite Edgar to bring a microphone around. Edgar's my assistant today. Thank you very much, Edgar. If there are any visitors over here, if you're willing and able, could you please stand and wait for the microphone to come to you? And when it gets to you, we'd love to hear your name, where you're from. If you've brought guests, please introduce them. Anybody? Oh, fantastic. Go ahead. Everybody stand who's new here. Yeah, let them know.
Hi, my name is Doug, and I just moved here about 2 weeks ago, I think, to help care for my mom who lives here. And I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Maybe this is my forever home, I don't know. But I'm very grateful to be among so many friendly people. It's really helping me a lot. Thanks.
Larry and Meredith, not much of a talker, so we just happened to see this place driving by when we got a little lost and decided we'd give it a shot.
I hope you find yourselves here.
I'm Tim Kahn. I'm Julie Lumpkin's husband. Julie just lost the election for District 4 City Council, and we had a chili cook-off about a week before the election, and we had a lot of leftover chili. So our dear friend Breedlove and Richard Durlock were over at our home the other night for the post-election result, and Breedlove saw that we had a lot of leftover chili and invited us to come out. I'm a longtime Episcopalian, but I was actually a cradle Congregationalist, and I can really relate to this type of service. I love you all.
Jesse. Oh.
My papa and Mimi are here. This is my Mimi and Papa.
Yeah, we're from Cincinnati, and we come to visit our lovely granddaughters and daughter in Andy. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Art Seal. This is my daughter, Christina Seal, all right? And she invited me today, but she also told me this was a chili cook-off, so. I enjoy chili, so I'm really glad to be here and enjoy meeting some people I've seen before. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. Nice catch. Well, Jack, Larry, Meredith, Tim, Mimi and Papa, and Art. If you'd like to learn more about the UUCC, there's visitor cards in the back pocket of each chair. Go ahead and fill it out and place it in the collection plate so that we can email you those events that I talked about earlier. Our board members and committee chairs welcome your questions and comments. Board members wear green name tags. Thank you all for being here. All right, Michael, come on up. Our chalice lighter this morning is Michael Elbrecht. Michael is from West Columbia, outside of Springdale. He graduated from Clemson University with a degree in biological sciences and now works as an environmental chemist at the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services. Some of us know that as DHEC. He's been involved with the UU off and on for over 10 years, including when he was a student at Clemson. Thank you, Michael. All right.
Our opening hymn is number 298, Wake Now My Senses. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
And now we invite all the children to come forward for the story of all ages, which I get to read. I haven't done this in a long time. Hello, everybody. I really love this book. I hope you love it too. I wonder if there's anybody in here that, I don't know, can tell me, what's an author do? Okay. Say it louder.
They write a book or a text.
They write a book or a text. Anybody else have some ideas? Okay. Yeah. Authors a lot of times want us to learn something from it. Can anybody tell me the name of the author? Somebody? Okay. What's the name of this author? Yes, thank you, Amanda Gordon. Yes, I'll take that back. Yeah. I always like to give credit to the author. There's also the fact that the author frequently comes up with that idea and like puts it all into action, but the author doesn't always come up with the beautiful art that's in a book. So, anybody know what the name of the person who does the artwork? Yes. That's right. And what do you call that person that does the art? Anybody know? The illustrator. Yeah. All right. I know. All right. Today, we're going to read Something Someday. When I was looking at this book yesterday, I was thinking about the fact that sometimes as I'm walking down the road, I see outside of houses big piles. Sometimes it's got a mattress in it. Sometimes it's got toys, and I wonder about how did that stuff get outside that house, and it kind of makes me feel sad. Have you seen that?
And the bag says 11 cents.
Yeah.
Nobody's throwing away money.
Have you ever gone to some of that stuff that's outside of a house and looked through it?
Yeah.
I have. And sometimes I find really good stuff and I bring it to Goodwill because I hate the fact that things are being thrown away so sadly.
You bring stuff to Goodwill?
Yeah, sometimes I find something really good and I say, you know what, I'm going to keep this at my house and I'm going to think of those people that don't have that stuff anymore.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's a good thing for the earth. Yeah. You're told that this is not a problem, but you're sure there's something wrong. You're told that this cannot be fixed, but you know you can help. You're told that this is too big for you, that you've seen the tiniest things make a huge difference. But you're told this won't work. Well, how do you know if you never try? You're told to sit and wait. But you know, people have already waited too long. You're told that what's going on, it's very, very, very sad. But you're not just sad, you're scared, you're confused, you're angry. And maybe, just maybe, a little hopeful. Yeah, in the middle of trash, right? A little hopeful. You're told not to hope, but you keep on hoping anyways.
Not the hope. Who would say that?
Right? Right? Like that attitude, man. Sometimes you feel like you're all alone, but someday, somewhere, you're going to find a friend, somebody who will hope with you, who believes in your dreams, someone who will fight with you. And multiple hands, right? You make a promise to each other. You say, there is a problem, but it's our problem together, and we're going to fix it together. But the problem's big. but together, we are bigger. And you make another friend and tell them, it's okay to be sad. And they'll tell you, sometimes we'll lose, but that's okay. We'll try again. And so you do, together, working, together, beginning, over and over and over and over. Until you're no longer beginning. You're winning. I love the art. Yeah, the art in here is beautiful. Suddenly there's something. You're sure, right? Something you helped fix, something small that's changed, something big, something worked, something that makes you feel hopeful, happy, loved. Something that's not a dream, but it's the reality you live in. Something that makes you smile. And as you tell someone else,
What we doesn't understand what's going on? Because babies are kind of
and then you found you made a difference. The end. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. All right, it's time for us to sing the children out.
Good morning. So our opening words are "To Be a Unitarian Universalist" by Erica Heriot. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work of telling the truth about oppression, the work of resisting any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity, the work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what, the work of creating heaven on earth. To be a Unitarian Universalist also means we are not alone in the work. We are not alone because of our promises to love one another. We are not alone because we are companions on the journey. We grow ourselves into allies, helping one another get free. Because none of us is truly free until we are all free.
If you have a personal joy, sorrow, or concern to share from this pulpit, please email or text our administrator by noon on Friday. You can also pick up a candle in the foyer before the service, and so you're able to share in person. We'd like everyone to know that we have an active caring committee whose members wear yellow name tags and are available for those in need. If you have a candle, please come forward at this time to share your joy or concern.
Good morning. I'm Kate Noel Wells. I go by Kate Noel. A few months ago, my children's book came out, and you guys have all been very supportive, and it's been a real success. So I wanted to share some good news. This past week, I signed a contract with and then submitted another manuscript to my publisher for a 14-0 sequel. So in a few months, hopefully we will get to celebrate that release date as well.
I'm Deb Matherly, and I have three joys. First, on Monday, several of us were at the State House, and we actually found out that Senate Bill 323 did not go forward. And it was very exciting. And second, I found that there's a call going around that there really is a community building to support the immigrants in our community, and that's exciting news. And then yesterday, Michelle Robinson led a wonderful workshop here, and there were 18 people, and I'm just so grateful for everyone who supports and comes out and learns, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Christina Seal, and I don't know if this, depending upon your point of view, I guess, I don't know if it would fall under a joy or concern. But back in 1985, I was a junior in high school, and a classmate, Mary Lee Whitten, was kidnapped and murdered by James Fawcett. And James had his parole hearing Wednesday. He had it Wednesday, and he will be spending another year in jail. So this candle is for Mary Lee to always remember, and the life that I think is unfair that he outlived her by 39 years. So this is for Mary Lee.
Thanks, Brother Tom, for the candle. My name is Anson. Some of you might know me as AD, but I have a joy to celebrate, which is that on Friday night, my wife and I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, where thousands of people took to the streets to stand with the immigrant community, and the workers in the immigrant community in Charlotte shut the city down for immigrant rights and drove out the Border Patrol, drove out ICE, and they are leading the way, and it kind of became just a party, a real festival of liberty up there and of solidarity. And the young people there, I got chills over my body when someone told me, these young people are so oppressed, and tonight they tasted freedom. They got a taste of freedom, and they felt what it meant to be free for the first time. So that's a joy that's worth celebrating, and thank you. I'm glad to share it with you.
Good morning, I'm Tom Clements. My joy is not as deep as that, it's very personal. It's not very important for you people, but for me it's quite important. I went over to Athens on Thursday. I went to grad school there in forest resources, but I ended up working for my whole career on nuclear policy issues. And the big underground archives over there has accepted my materials from my career. And I took 30 boxes over there right before COVID. And I'm cleaning out everything, getting rid of everything. And I got the crown jewels. I boxed up 6 boxes. The new director of the archives agreed that they would take this stuff. I went over and visited friends, and I took my last 6 boxes and put them on the loading dock. And I'm so happy I don't have to put that stuff in the trash. Nobody may ever see it. Maybe some students will do some, investigation and write some reports. but I'm so happy that all my stuff is now archived at the University of Georgia.
And finally, we'll light one candle for all of the unspoken joys and concerns that you hold in your hearts. Let's take a moment to just ponder them for just a moment. This congregation proudly participates in our very own Michael Sullivan Share the Plate initiative, where half of our monthly cash collection is donated to a local charity. It's our way of giving back and supporting our community. Today, we have Nancy that will be coming up to speak about Harvest Hope Food Bank, who is this month's recipient.
Thank you, Bethany. Unfortunately, there was a family emergency and our speaker wasn't available, but you might remember Erin Rowe, who was with us the first week of November. She was one day away from seeing the repercussions of SNAP being taken away. So just a little bit about Harvest Hope Food Bank has a mission to provide for the needs of hungry people by gathering and sharing quality food with dignity, compassion, and education. Harvest Hope has continued to increase the scope of its operations and now provides food, comfort, and hope to hungry individuals and families in the Midlands, PD, and Greater Greenville regions of South Carolina. Of course, as you use, indeed, our work is never done, but we all feel like we can do something so as someday we won't have to have food banks. You can all imagine, I asked her for stats as to what happened this month because of SNAP being taken away from people so carelessly, so mercilessly. So usually they serve 200 people, 200 families in a day in their emergency food pantry in Columbia. That doubled quite literally to 400 a day when SNAP ended on November 1st. Just in their senior day, last Thursday, we served over 600 families in one day. However, she added, the community has been so gracious, and we have given over now 300 food drives are going on right now. Folks, we will have our food drive as we do at the beginning of December, about mid-December through the end of January. We have always come through remarkably well. This year, folks, we need to dig even deeper. Please, if you have it in your heart and ability, please make sure every time you attend, well, from now on, always, there's the collection over there by the windows where we have the little Harvest Hope containers, but it often overflows, and we'd love to see that overflow every week. In December and January in particular, truly, as Dr. Reverend Heriot told us, none of us is truly fed, in this case, until we are all fed. Thank you.
And if you would like to contribute to Share the Plate, please write Share the Plate in the memo line of your check or on the donation envelope. And thank you for your generosity.
Our offertory music selection is Soon the Day Will Arrive by Ehud Manor and Nurit Hirsch.
Would our ushers please come forward?
Soon the day will arrive when we will be together.
We sincerely appreciate these gifts, which reflect the generosity and kindness of our community.
Well, it's really good to be with you today. I've been here many times for the SCUUJA Fall Festival. I've preached here before, and I find that you folks are really a warm and welcoming congregation. So I'm happy to be here. And I'll be staying after the service for the chili cook-off. I'm not sure if I'm going to vote or not, but I'll be here. And if you'd like to chat, just stop by and say hello, and I'll hear what's on your heart and mind. So as you know, I'm here today as both a community minister from the Aiken UU Church and as a representative of our South Carolina UU Justice Alliance. We started in 2022 as a state action network, working for justice in our state. And so today I decided to talk about the problems we face as a nation and to talk about ways that you, I, and other UUs can work together to bring about our UU value of transformation. Ways we can walk together as companions and traveling souls along the road ahead. So I'm going to start with the bad, the very bad. Some would even say evil times that we find ourselves grappling with as a society. I recently read the book by Timothy Synder called On Tyranny. And in it, he analyzes what's happening to our nation. Our founding fathers, he argues, were wary of tyranny, which they thought of as, quote, the usurpation of power by a single individual or group, or the circumvention of law by rulers for their own benefit. It's a really good description of what's going on. Synder has been widely critical of President Trump and warned early on that Trump's lies would lead to tyranny. That's possible. Democracy isn't possible because, Synder says, in a society divided by true believers and everyone else, we just can't have democracy. In democracy, we must pursue truth. And we also need to know history and how things have changed and how things can change again. Now, Synder was, unfortunately, really perceptive because he wrote on tyranny right after Trump's first election. And it hit the bestseller list again after his second election. Many UUs now see Trump's actions as even more clearly tyranny destroying democracy. And you can look at the steps in Synder's book, or frankly, by just reading the news. So let's take it as a given. Things are bad for our democracy. What do we do? Well, that's where I see transformation entering our lives. Because you know, our founding fathers, they were not perfect. They said in the beginning that only white people with property could vote, and they had to be men. People could legally own slaves, and they supported wars that were genocidal against Native Americans. So we've had to do constant advocacy throughout our history to bring about what Abraham Lincoln called a more perfect union. So we worked to end slavery, to bring about women's suffrage, and to create civil rights for African Americans and for indigenous peoples. So our nation's never been perfect. And we need a new way, because even before Trump, our democracy wasn't working for a lot of people. Global inequality on the scale we see here, and it's gotten worse, by the way, we see here and elsewhere is a direct result of our political and economic systems. So we've had problems feeding our population. We've had problems providing health care and education and keeping our communities safe for a long time. And we've needed massive change, but we don't want it going in the direction it's going now. This is not what we wanted. So we have a leader, and unfortunately, this is a very good encapsulation of what our leader is doing. I don't know how many of you know who William Barber is, but he's the chair of the Poor People's Campaign and a preacher in Union Theological Seminary, a really great advocate for justice. And William Barber says, we have a leader who wakes up in the morning and thinks, who can I harm today? Which is really unfortunate. And that's where transformation comes in. Here's what our new Article 2, because we just passed it was it last year or this year? Last year, I think. Anyway, here's what Article 2 says about our value of transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. So we aspire to this value of adapting to a changing world. But you know, I've talked to folks who said they watch the news and they feel so bad they can't get out of the house. I don't know if you've talked to anybody who feels like that. Some others have said, it's so bad, I can't watch or read the news anymore at all. And some like me, once this election came to be, said, okay, I'll read the news, but I won't watch it, because at least I get a little distance that way. And part of the design of the current administration is to overwhelm us with change, with this deeply unwelcome change. They have a term for it. It's called flood zone. And it makes it very difficult to focus on one thing. And our current president often uses distraction as well, and he will try to have people focus on his next outrageous idea to keep us from thinking about what's actually going on. So I don't know about you, but I confess that I find it hard to like change. When I decided to go to graduate school at UCLA back in 1979, I had a lot of moments of excitement, and also I was scared. So I got in my Ford Maverick and drove from rural South Carolina to the big city of LA. And I'm going, I don't know if I'm smart enough. Can I hold my own? And can I drive in the big city? Because, you know, it took me 2 full years to get used to it. It was so huge. I couldn't find a lot of comfort in that big city. And learning how to drive probably was one of the riskiest things in your life, you know, when you're trying to get across 4 lanes of highway on a left-hand turn. You're like, ooh, okay. So I expect you too have some examples of change that was both exciting and terrifying. Like bringing your first child home from the hospital, starting a new job, moving to another country, or perhaps as you've gotten older like me, you wake up and you get mad at your body. It's like, wait a minute, that's hurting now, stop, enough change already. So change can be difficult for us to accept. But this level of change, the change we're experiencing in our country, is also hard because it's so widespread and so much of it goes against our values. And that's why it takes so much effort to be present to the changes and to work for transformation. We need that openness to change and to be able to adapt as our values suggest. Now, how? Now that's where I think SCUUJA can be part of the response. So many of you know we had a Faithify campaign, and we were raising money to buy banned books for congregations in our state because, unfortunately, South Carolina leads the nation in the number of banned books in grades K to 12. So we met our goal. In October, we gave you all 21 banned books and 1 restricted book. And then in the spring, not in the spring, in January, we'll be hosting some banned book reads. So that's one way we're fighting back. And the threat's ongoing, by the way. There's like over 100 books that they wanted to ban in Beaufort to start with, and they keep bringing more up. SCUUJA has also developed action teams in 6 areas of justice work. And if you get interested in any of these action teams, I have sign-up sheets on a table right outside the sanctuary, and you can sign up to help us out. It doesn't mean you're signing your life away. I am not going to recruit you to the nth degree, but I'd love for you to sign up if you're interested. So our action teams are on climate justice, democracy and voting, economic justice, which also includes healthcare and the SNAP benefits that we were referencing earlier, immigration justice, LGBT and bodily autonomy justice, and racial justice. And I think in your joys and sorrows, you shared about 3 or 4 of those concerns. So what do our action teams do? Well, we monitor what's happening in the state, and we find out what's going on, and we share it. And recently, we just found out that we got a UU funding program grant to help us build up action teams in our state, which is nice, yeah. So at SCUUJA, we ask you to do that work of transformation. And you can do that by writing a postcard saying, don't pass the extreme anti-abortion bill, which we just talked about a little bit earlier, Senate 323 bill. It's beaten back for now, but it can come back, so we've got to be vigilant. You can join an anti-racist workshop and figure out ways to make your congregation even more welcoming. You can find out what's happening to trans folks and support them. There are many issues. We try to break it down for you. I wouldn't advise signing up for all 6 action teams. You have to pick and choose what you're going to work on so that you don't get overwhelmed. You don't want to do it alone either. So think about what you really want to work on, because there's power. A lot of power in our united voices. All those people who showed up at the Capitol and wrote and called their senators about Senate Bill 323, you made a difference. Timothy Snyder's first chapter on tyranny is entitled, Do Not Obey in Advance. Do not obey in advance. And what he says is that most of the authority that we see when tyranny starts happening is freely given, because people don't want to stand up or they don't want to challenge anything. So they'll give in and start doing whatever the administration asks without even being asked. And I know that we've had quite a few people here who talk about our representatives as having no spines. That's what we're talking about, not having any spine. They just go along. And Snyder says, well, we might do that too without thinking about it, but SCUUJA and this congregation can help you wake up to that if you find yourself slipping, and help you reflect on what's actually going on. So I'm going to touch on immigration because I talked to some folks here in Columbia this week, and as you know, ICE has recently targeted Charlotte, North Carolina, and Charlotte is really resisting. And we've begun to wonder if they're targeting people here in Columbia as well. Large-scale ICE activity in Columbia has not been officially confirmed by the police, but there have been a lot of increased reports about ICE activity. And so some of you are already working with community activists here. The SCUUJA, Yvonne Segura, some of you may know him, to get a rapid response team and an ICE hotline here in Columbia. So I've been on ACLU immigration team, and they have launched a hotline in helped launch a hotline, ICE hotline in Charleston, one in Beaufort. I know they're working on, I think they've got one up in Greenville. I'm in the Aiken area. They want to start one in the Aiken area, and of course here. You can be involved in whatever way you feel comfortable. The sort of maybe the easiest way, and I brought some red cards with me today. They're on the table with the signups. Red cards are, in this case, they're in English and Spanish, and they're know your rights. So you can have, you can leave them someplace where people might want to pick them up and be ready to know what they can and can't do if ICE comes to the door. But you can also volunteer to be an observer. You have to do training for that, and I believe there's training this week. Talk to Bethany about that. And then you can also volunteer to be an operator on the hotline, especially if you speak Spanish. Unfortunately, South Carolina is, as you know, a very conservative state. And a lot of our communities, including Lexington, have made agreements with ICE to turn people over. And so we're number 4 in the nation for having made those agreements with ICE in South Carolina. So we need to be especially vigilant with working with our partner organizations to try and stop some of this. So another way that we can work together for transformation is joining with our UU congregations and our partners coming together. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. How many of you have been to at least one of the protests this year? Now, look around. That's like at least half the congregation. We UUs have joined the No Kings group, the UU organization, for this last October 18 one, and more than 7 million people showed up. Now you think, what does that change? It doesn't change the policies per se, but how many of you felt better after you went? How many of you loved the signs? I get such a kick out of them. And the other part of it, I think, is the physicality of it. Just being there. I was in Hastings, Nebraska for the last No Kings one, and I had a friend who had never, she's my age, she'd never been to a protest. I talked her into going, and she was a little scared. And then when she came back, she said, all my friends were there. So if you're, if that's something that you think about doing, that's something you can do. And if you're like me and don't want to stand on the corner, you can take a chair. So remember, you're not doing it by yourself. And we aren't saying that we as individuals can do all this work. We are saying, join us, and we can build together as a UU community transformation in our world. So sign up for our newsletter. We only send it out once a month, so you're not like inundated. Join an action team. Experience the power of what we can do to change this world. Snyder ends his book, and I'm going to end with this quote. "This is not the end, but a beginning. May we too embrace this as a time of change, a beginning.
Thank you, Reverend Jean. It reminds me of one of the mantras that I always try to remember, and that's, I can't do everything, but I can do something. We are going to move into something y'all have been waiting for. It's the cornbread communion. And before y'all get up, can I have my assistant, Edgar, be on the ready? He's going to do something. I know there might be a couple of people who are mobility challenged. And if you are, please just raise your hand, and Edgar will go ahead and bring you some cornbread and some cider. Got a couple of people. I see 2 hands so far. Keep them up real high. Edgar, you got 3 hands, Edgar. Yeah, man, thank you. So Edgar will go ahead and bring you. You can just grab a couple of, you can go back and forth as many times as you want, Edgar, okay? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I don't have any paper towel.
Wait a minute.
I'll go get some. Thank you. Why don't you work on the cider for the moment? Pass out that cider. Thank you.
Remember, you gave me these.
Okay. I'm going to ask those of you that need stuff, you just keep your hand up until you get it. But the rest of you, I'd like you to start coming up. It's getting late, so come on up and grab your cider and your cornbread. In this season of turning leaves and gathered harvest, remember that our Unitarian Universalist faith is lived in community. It's done in ways that we care and we share and we show up for one another. This cornbread and this cider are simple gifts of the earth and of many hands. May they remind us that we are held in a circle of belonging. Know that you are part of this community and that you're welcomed at this table of shared life. If you haven't yet drank your cider and eaten your cornbread, go ahead and do it now. One last thing to read by Timothy Haley while you're finishing it. Amid all the noise in our lives, we take this moment to sit silent, to give thanks for another day, to give thanks for all of those that are in our lives who've brought us warmth and love, and to give thanks for the gift of life. Let us open ourselves here and now to the process of becoming more whole, living more fully, of giving and forgiving more freely, of understanding more completely the meaning of our lives here on this earth.
Our closing hymn is in the teal hymnal. It's number 1020, Wo Ya Ya. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing. This hymn has some repeats, sections that you'll see embraced by two little dots next to the lines, mean you get to go back and sing that section again. Even if you're not sure how to follow that map, it's easy to follow the repeating patterns in the words as they go around. And if you may read music, you can always point the way to the person singing next to you. Please join me in singing hymn number 1020, Wo Ya Ya. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there.
You may be seated. So our closing words are by Michelle Collins. Changes abound. Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and the perhaps bold and risky possibilities that may be there waiting.
As we extinguish our chalice, may it light gently and warm our hearts and guide our steps until we're together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our congregational benediction. Before y'all leave, I have a couple of announcements. You may sit or stand, whatever you want to do. It's short. Just 2 announcements. The first one is that the December vegan potluck has been canceled. The next potluck will be on January 8th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And also, please look in our newsletter and our e-blast for the Buildings and Grounds Committee's plea for help to put up that Christmas tree and the decorations on Saturday morning. The contact information is in the announcement. Thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to be present today. Our time together has come to a close. But please, before you leave, take a few minutes to welcome visitors and greet your friends around you. And remember, don't go far if you're hungry, because CYRE has a chili cook-off fundraiser that's going to be happening in the social hall. Go in peace.